Hi, this is an episode about why EMDR therapy doesn't seem to quickly shift cognitions broadly for some clients. EMDR therapy shifts how you think about yourself and the world related to the memory we're working on. Why does it do this? Because that's a lot of what healing is. Healing shifts how you think about yourself and the world as well as a lot of other things. Wounding is experiential learning, and vast regions of our nervous system are organized around meaning making in the foreground, in the middle ground, and in the background. Healing is also experiential learning. Broadly in EMDR therapy and other transformational trauma therapies, it's not that difficult to help clients shift an individual memory and the cognitions associated with it. Sometimes consultees will ask why a particular cognition that clients have worked on across multiple sessions isn't showing up in how they broadly believe about themselves and how they actually live. The consultant may say, "We've worked successfully on 3 different memories around the belief, what I want doesn't matter," and they still don't believe it broadly about themselves. We need to consider how much wounding has this client had, where the take-home message was that cognition. Are we talking hundreds of experiences, thousands of experiences, tens of thousands of experiences that redundantly placed and reinforced that reality of the world? Saliently learned information in the service of survival isn't meant to be changed easily. That wouldn't be evolutionarily wise. And a parent who has the capacity to treat you as though your needs don't matter will do that consistently. There are 154,000 hours in childhood, and those hours may contain an enormous amount of salient, somatic, and deeply redundantly placed learning. It is possible that you can work on a handful of memories with some clients with complex trauma, and the broad belief about themselves may start to soften. That is remarkable. But for many people, processing a handful of memories isn't nearly enough disconfirmation to shift a whole cosmology. 3 hours isn't enough to offset the bedrock reality of 154,000 hours. But keep at it. And by that, I don't mean endlessly hammering away at that individual cognition until it's fully resolved. In fact, to make good progress with it, you may need the client to work on adjacent memory context in other categories of learning for a while. Return to it. Check in on it. And the first clues probably aren't going to be the client coming to session and telling you that they've arrived and that positive belief suddenly feels true. You may see the emergence of a new belief in small things. You may hear the client reporting almost offhand that they set and defended a boundary with someone who has never respected theirs. When broad change happens with clients with complex trauma, it often happens slowly because the learning we're trying to change isn't small and limited. It's global and cosmological and has been reinforced across many developmental eras. The fact that EMDR therapy can help shift deeply held beliefs at all is a testament to how transformational trauma therapies can create learning experiences whose lessons can ripple through the client's internal cosmos. The fact that a sizable chunk of this work can be done in dozens of hours, and that can offset hundreds of thousands of hours of learning is remarkable. So, working on first, worst, and future templates is likely to resolve a whole cognition for relatively healthy people. But relatively healthy people aren't your clients. We're trying to die on the wrong hill when we expect people with complex trauma to recover with the same speed and ease of healthy people. We trained you to practice with fidelity in ways that work for healthy people. To work effectively with clients with complex trauma, we need to be reminded that rapidly and quickly are the wrong adverbs. There's nothing rapid or quick about recovery from complex trauma, regardless of the approach. The learning from complex trauma was never meant to be changed easily, and that's not about you. So be kind to yourself. Be patient. Start somewhere. Work somewhere. Come back to it when you can, when life circumstances for your client settle. Work somewhere else. Come back to that. EMDR therapy is an incredibly effective way to work with clients with complex trauma, as evidenced by the fact that broad recovery is possible at all in these approaches. We need to be advocates for people with complex trauma. We need to be advocates in our own organizations. We need to be advocates when someone is trying to gaslight us about what complex trauma is and how easily people should be able to recover from it. We need to challenge when we hear EMDR being described as an ultra-brief approach to psychotherapy, when most of this world's wounding is of the complex type. This world took its time with us when it set about wounding us. Healing is going to take its own time. We should understand and advocate that.